So what are we doing here, Abby?
Loading plants in so they don't die from the cold.
Yeah.
There's definitely a temperature change between
There is, yeah. Although they will still die in here. The ones that aren't winter hardy, but the pots won't get broken quite so easily. So, bell bottoms, you want to film me over here? Alrighty.
with all of them.
Alright, I will meet you over there. Abby's in a helping mood, which is lovely. It's a lot of fun when she helps me out. She's always very enthusiastic, and really cheerful, and has a lot of fun doing it when she wants to. Try and make her help when she doesn't want to. Beautiful. Look at all those plants. It's a full-on jungle in here.
I think you want to get out of here for close.
Emma. Cool. Arch enemies. Cats, eh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Meow.
Got themselves in the garden, but they can't figure out how to get out. Should we let them out?
Yeah.
Alright, come on then. You think you can fit through? It's like an obstacle course around here, isn't it? Oh, wait, getting close to the car. Yeah, that's tricky. You did a great job. You're going to be a good driver one day, Abby. Remember that. We need to get you some pepperoni for dinner, for lunch. And that was a good, productive morning. It's nice to finally feel productive after being sick for 11 days. So this morning I put all the buckets on the blueberries to protect them from rabbits. And I did the roses as well.
This one broke though.
Yeah, well, that bucket broke before I tried to put it on those roses. And those roses are big, so. And then I also put buckets on the apple tree, the 2 hazelnuts. And there's 2 roses way out there that I put buckets on. I know some people will do that sort of thing to protect things from snow. I'm doing it to protect them from the rabbits. Also this morning, I loaded a whole bunch of wood into the house. So after sort of doing the bare minimum for 11 days while I was sick, I finally feel like I'm starting to get some momentum going. Getting a few things done, being a little bit more proactive, which is a nice feeling. It feels really good to be accomplishing stuff. Also this morning did a little bit more improvements on the weather stripping on this big door here. So I did this one earlier this fall. So today I put another bit up here because there was a big draft coming in there. And then at the bottom of the door here, I noticed whenever I did my exercises, I noticed underneath this thing right here, I could see daylight through there, and I could see daylight between these 2 boards. So Abby helped me with this one. She did a really good job putting caulking all along this crack between these 2 boards. And then the last thing I'm doing is I'm making a big, like, woolen door snake thing that can go along the bottom of the door. So where it opens, it'll prevent the wind coming in and out of that crack. Also this morning, there's a whole bunch of plants that were out there that I brought into the house because I want to have them over the winter. And I know that some of them had spider mites. And last year I had a really bad spider mite infestation, so I'm nipping that in the bud. So today I dusted every single one of my plants, and particularly liberally the ones that came from outside. I dusted them with diatomaceous earth. So hopefully if I do that on a regular basis, like maybe weekly, then I'll have all of the spider mites taken care of by springtime when it's time to start seedlings in this house. So the next job today is 100 foot of extension cord. So my house to Dawn's house is about 200 feet, and I run right now, there's 1, 2, 3 extension cords running that distance, and it is preferable to have as few extension cords as possible because the plug itself is a problem. So I am going to, it's extra pain in the butt because this one has a 3-pronged end on it, which means I want this end in my greenhouse. That's where it goes into my house, is through the greenhouse and through the window. So it's going to start there, but the one that's there right now is the other 100-footer. So that 100-footer is going to need to be pulled and put at the far end, and this 100-footer is going to have to be put at this end. And the most complicated spot, let's go, where am I going anyway? All right, I need this guy, and I need to go to the greenhouse. I've been planning to do this for 2.5 years since I moved here. I got sort of spurred into doing it by 2 things that happened. This summer, one of the plugs kind of burned a little bit. And then when the snow happened last week, my electricity went out and I couldn't find the plug. It was under 16, 14, I don't know, several inches of snow. And I couldn't actually find the plugs. And I got it working again without finding the plugs, but it occurred to me that I should probably make this job happen sooner rather than later. And then there was a sale on for this extension cord, so good to go. But my first mission is to pull this one through the hole down there and then run this one through the hole down there. That's gonna be fun because, you know, of course there has to be 700 things between here and the hole. That's how life goes, isn't it? That is how life goes. Theory, this cord should not have been necessary. In theory, by now, I should have my electrical system figured out and my solar panels up. That was the plan for this past summer. But somehow, this past summer flew by with the speed of lightning, and I accomplished about 1/20th of the things that I wanted to accomplish. So, new extension cord it is. The thing that just blows my mind over and over and over again is how, oh, you look terrible, is how quickly time flies. It's really freaking me out. Like, I feel like I've lost all my time management skills. Things that I think should take 2 hours take weeks. I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Part of it is I have kids. But the rest of it, I cannot explain. Now, it would be nice to just be able to shove this end through the hole and run it in. I don't think this end's going to fit through the hole. So I think I have to shove this end through the hole and pull it. Should I try? Which of the two options is lazier? I don't know. Challenge is, Abby, that the green cord has been here for 2.5 years, so it's buried. So I have to go through the garden. And chilly, isn't it? You gonna help me? Amazing. I love when you help me. Makes this feels like such a, because the thing is, when it's buried, it means that we don't have to worry about running it over with a lawnmower. So it's really nice when it's buried, or the snow blower, or whatever machines we're running through here. So it's nice when it's buried. It feels counterproductive to be digging it out. So what we're doing, ladies, is pulling up the extension cord all the way from here, all the way to Dawn's farm. We have to dig it out. Full path. Until it reaches. All right, bring it this way, Abby. All right, and booyah! Our house has power. Well done, Abby. Thanks for your help, girls. Much appreciated. You're rock stars. So it's like 4 o'clock. It's gonna get dark in an hour. I'm really proud of today. I feel so much less behind, I guess. I guess I just feel less behind. There's a certain amount of work you gotta do every week in order to not drown when you're doing a farm. And the whole time you're sick, you think to yourself, if I don't start getting work done soon, I'm gonna be drowning. So it's nice that it only took me one day to really get out from under all of it. That's a big relief. I mean, I'm still behind. I still need to finish the bunny barn, which I was supposed to have finished in the spring. And I still need to put the garden to bed. Although I reminded myself when I was sick, if I'm taking the summer off next year, it is not vital that I have the garden put to bed in the fall. I can put it to bed in the spring. But I have a lot of other things I'm going to be doing in the spring, so it would really be ideal. It would be ideal to put the garden to bed now, and then I have it over with, and I don't have to think about it anymore. So now I'm going to sit down with Bethany and Abby and do my first podcast, hopefully, if everything works. I tested out the equipment on the weekend, and I think I got it all figured out, so fingers crossed. I hope it works. That will hopefully go online before this, so you might already know how the podcast went, or you might not. I don't know. I guess if it hasn't gone up, then you'll know that it didn't go very well. Look at the size of this maple leaf.
Oh my god.
Yeah, pretty good, eh?
Look how big it
It is huge. So the girls have gone to their dad's, so I'm on my own trying to accomplish some things. Right now, what I'm doing is looking for where my turkey is laying her eggs. For a while, she had a little nest in the garden, but when the snow came, it knocked it down, and she didn't want to use it anymore. So she found another place in the garden for a few days, and then stopped using it, which tells me she has found something else that she likes better, which means that I haven't had any turkey eggs in a few days. What I would like to do is build her a solid nesting box that she can use. She has one inside the chicken run, but she just doesn't want to use it. For whatever reason, she doesn't want to use it. So I need to figure out what she is using so that I can find the darn eggs. It's the mystery. That's the thing with having birds at free range. Kind of have to watch them all day to figure out what they're doing. So I had a really awesome productive day that I filmed, and then the next day was running errands with the girls, and around mid-afternoon I suddenly felt a migraine coming on. But something that happened with that migraine at the exact same time, it was like a switch got flipped in my head, and I suddenly got severe anxiety and depression. And it was so striking because, okay, I've had anxiety, I've had depression since I had surgery when I was 15. And I've had anxiety since I was in Israel 15 years ago. And both have sort of come and gone, but the anxiety has been pretty bad since I had kids, really. But then about a month ago, it really lifted, and I felt really good, and life just got so much easier without that extra weight around my neck. So then I got sick for a little while, and the anxiety came back a little bit, but not as bad as before. And then just suddenly, 2 days ago, when I got this migraine, I just like had a panic attack and depression that came on with the migraine. So that was pretty weird. And I haven't felt the migraine. I got rid of almost right away. I took some pills and it went away. It wasn't a big deal. But the anxiety lingered for the rest of the night. So it really, really... Come on, turkey. It really struck me how much... When you do years and years and years of like therapy and trying to conquer anxiety disorder, you get told that it's about what you're thinking, what you're saying to yourself in your subconscious. So I have spent literally decades trying to get really good at listening to my subconscious. And I am now. I am very good at listening to my subconscious. So when something like this happens, it just sort of blows up that entire narrative, because it really was like just a chemical switch in my brain got flipped. And suddenly I got anxiety. And then I started hearing my subconscious saying negative things, but it didn't start there. It did not start with me thinking negative things. It started with a chemical reaction, which resulted in me thinking negative things. So, I don't know. It got me thinking anyways about sort of the nature of mental health and the stories that we tell ourselves. And I think that, I saw this video that really pissed me off. And it was basically saying that so many people have anxiety these days because they don't know how to do difficult things, and they don't know how strong they are, and they don't have any faith in themselves because they've been protected from difficult things their whole lives. And I have heard that that is a thing. That's why I free range parent as much as possible, because I want my children to learn how to do dangerous things and learn how strong they are and learn what they're capable of doing. But just the way this guy said it, it was really dismissive of people who have anxiety. And I know that he would probably say, well, I'm not talking about everyone, I'm just talking about some people. But that's not what he said. He didn't say some people. He just said everybody has anxiety these days and it's not real. Basically was how it sounded to me. So yeah, I took a bit of issue with that because I have had a very difficult life, and I know very much what I am capable of. I know how that I have overcome hard things. That is not why I have anxiety. I have anxiety because some switch flips in my head, and it's like toxic waste gets dumped into my subconscious thought stream, and there's not a lot that I can do about it. Like, I listened to like a 20-minute motivational speaker, and I meditated, and I exercised, and then I cooked a really healthy meal. And then I spent time with my loved ones, just listening to them and being present in the moment. I did all of the things that you're supposed to do, and it didn't help. What helped was going to sleep and waking up the next morning and feeling a little bit better. Although I did have a bit of a hangover from it. Anyways, I feel like I've had this talk with you before. I feel like I've said all of this before. I feel like I can only do YouTube for so long before I start sounding like a broken record. But I guess there are new people joining my channel all the time, and they won't have heard it before. And for those of you who have heard it before, maybe you need to hear it more than once. I don't know. Especially if you're somebody who struggles with anxiety and depression and feel like it's something that you're doing intentionally. Maybe it isn't. I mean, maybe it is, for sure. I'm the first to say that, yes, the way I think, my thought patterns are a huge factor in how I feel, 100%. But sometimes it's the reverse causality. Sometimes it's the depression causing the negative thought patterns. So be kind to yourself about it. Sometimes it's not something that you're doing wrong. Oh my God. So, my next job on my to-do list is, for a time, I was saving all of the ash from my wood stove. because I have a secret desire to make my own soap from scratch, including making my own lye. I've got all this rendered fat from the different animals that we've processed, and I've got all of this ash that I saved for making lye, and I grow all these herbs that I can use as essential oils. And there was something else that I was going to use. You need another type of oil, so I was thinking of using pumpkin seed oil. But it has become clear to me that this pipe dream is never going to happen. There's too many steps, and I just don't have time on my hands. Maybe when my kids are all grown up and I have time for hobbies that are time consuming, I can consider making my own soap from scratch. And then I can also do my other dream, which is making an article of clothing entirely myself, from raising the animal to turning into the thread and then weaving it into a fabric with my loom and then sewing it into a piece of clothing. Those dreams are going to have to wait until I have until I become a vampire and time no longer has meaning. That's not going to happen. So I have all these bags of ash in Dawn's shed here that I'm going to put on the garden, because Dawn's shed is an absolute disaster, and a large amount of this mess is mine. So I'm going to try and take responsibility for my mess, beginning with the bags of ash. It's terrible. I know. I am aware. Now getting it out of here is going to be another issue altogether, because it's a minefield in here. It is weird to be tearing down this garden and putting it to bed for 3 years or so, because I put so much time and effort into building it, and it was such a passion, and it was so important to me. I built a garden when I still lived with the kid's father. I built a garden there, and I only really got to garden for 1 year, and then the second year I was trying to figure out how to leave, so the garden it was not the outlet that I hoped it was. And then I had to build another garden from scratch when I got to the permaculture farm, starting from scratch all over again, building soil, getting to know the land, and I was only there for 1 year. And then I came here, and Dawn built me this garden, and it was such a gift, and it was very, romantic and kind and beautiful that he helped me build this garden, and he put a lot of time and effort into helping me build this garden. And I really poured a lot of money and love and passion into this garden. So to be tearing it down after only the 3rd year, it feels like a failure is what it feels like. But that's not what it is. And I have to remind myself that's not what it is. The garden is my passion, and I love it, and I want to do it some more, and I'm not giving up. I am just putting it on pause because my children are a priority at this point in time. And once I have gotten them to a place where they can continue their education, without as much time and effort from me, then I can pour my time and effort back into my passion, and I can be a little bit selfish and do this thing that is for me. And I know that, and I tell myself that over and over and over again, but it still feels so almost tragic to be tearing this down after only 3 years. But of course, it's not a waste, because the soil will be resting while I am gone. And when I come back, it should be wonderful, beautiful, healthy soil that I can work with. And yeah, the seeds will probably be, I'm probably going to have to start my seed collection from scratch, because most of the seeds will not be, sorry, I'm trying to do things while holding the camera. It's a terrible disaster. I should really pick one activity or the other. Most of the seeds won't be viable. So my massive seed collection of, like, what is it I said earlier, like 600 varieties of seeds, most of that is gone. That collection is gone. I will share it with friends and family. If you want some seeds, let me know. I will share it with other people so that the seeds will still get use, but I'm gonna have to start that from scratch when I come back. But I won't have to start the soil from scratch again. That will be there. And I'll have kind of a blank slate with which to re-envision how I want to do this, with the knowledge that I have earned, with the knowledge that I have gained from the past 5 years of gardening. So stop being so hard on yourself, Erin. This is fine. This is okay. It's not a tragedy. It's not a tragedy. Okay, that's going to be it for tonight. I got a date with Dawn and the new season of Stranger Things, which we're pretty excited about. So thank you for hanging out with me, as always. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you next time. Take care.